Of course, sound issues, because why not? Good morning. I'm having to find socks and make this face presentable. Then I have to find my pep flute. And for reasons I might mute myself during that process. I'm gonna explain why. And why even in the audacity of me actually doing all of this, I'm gonna explain why. But first of all, socks, pepper flute, and then we're gonna get ready with me. Like, for fuck's sake, I never tried to be a content streamer that is like a beauty blogger, but a lot of me is like, a lot of things I end up doing like casually here is just like, beauty blogger territory, even though that is not my goal, and not for this at all, because I am just right now changing the name of posture check into cognitive dissonance check. But first, I'll mute myself finding socks and a pep flute, and I want to talk what a pep flute is in like 2 small moments. Yeah. And the window stays on. I'm just gonna mute because I'm gonna like fucking look for my pep flute while I'm cursing and stuff. Maybe I'll just keep everything on. Keep everything on. I'm just gonna, yeah. There goes my headset, but it's I can catch it. Like fucking hell. Okay, get ready with me is like beauty blogger territory, and I hate it. Okay, I might have to actually curse a lot, so be right back. But the mic stays on. The mic stays on. Just make this a bit more. Look, there's my heart. Fuck you. Good morning. In the night, Damien, not Damien Hirst, what the fuck was it? Gorilla's guy, he always kisses his instruments. Let me do that to you while you are getting like wrecked and stuff. Where the fuck is my pet flute? I kind of need it right now, and yeah. Where did I put you? You know, the instruments that a musician should love and honor. They are loved and honored in the same regard I am loving and honoring myself. I found it. It was stupidly enough and poetically enough, before I go back, I'm just gonna find socks. Poetically enough, I found my pet flute with my bandages. That is stupid. But it's also kind of yeah. Of course. And I have city socks. Oh damn. I'm gonna have 2 different socks today because it suits me. Alright. I'll show what a pep flute is. I just need to have 2 different socks. This is actually a child's sock. But it's this, my good and holy friends, is a pep flute. What do I use it for? Well, fuck, I'm gonna show you. This is a day without content. Meaning you are gonna casually just become known with what I do when I don't do things according to a plan for content creation. But first we're gonna go into beauty blogger theater. No, wait. That is wrong. We're gonna go into beauty blogger theater. Good morning. And a pep flute. Well, you, Fluidium, you know what a pep flute is, probably. It's something you do get when you are in cancer treatment, or if you have had something. I am not in cancer treatment. I'm not in any way using this as anything other than a musician would. But first, honey. Yeah, pure honey. For the same reason. A pep flute. Yeah, I know. You're gonna have to watch me in a way that I can acknowledge will be very sexualizing. But for according to doing this, it is the muscle you have here. And in the way you use your muscles here, to actually sing. And that is actually the reason why I'm coming on today. Because today I'm actually having to have a cognitive dissonance talk with myself. As I'm eating honey. I haven't gotten into like the way I wanted to plan my start of the year and doing it fast enough. Like, would you believe it? Of course you can't do it fast enough. I have removed an organ of my body. And doing that makes me slow down. Would you believe it? It's so obnoxiously, truthfully, like, yeah, of course, territory. Of course. Good morning. How are your morning, by the way? I'm having to eat a lot of honey because I'm doing okay, but I'm having to like lower the expectations of how I am expecting myself to do things in a way that is not okay, like cognitive dissonance territory. Like, I have to understand being a woman is being kind of like, first of all, weak. Being post like surgery is having to accept that you're kind of weak. Hi, good morning. And being post-surgery and being weak because I have removed an organ is also being aware of my stressors on my body, like somatically. In the same way, I am also looking for my fucking thing to actually dress my eyes up into blacker territory. Like, that is silly street. So yeah, in a way, I am okay, but I'm kind of using like an outside like motivational drive to actually keep myself in a posture check. And lol shot, you were the one giving me a posture check last time I streamed. So the posture check I'm giving myself today is actually the cognitive dissonance check. Look, I have to take things calm. Just a gallbladder. It is actually in any way, shape or form nothingness territory. So a gallbladder, it was if you eat a lot of fat food, a gallbladder might like release go things. Yeah, I'm not a health personnel, but yeah, to just like, yeah. And they removed it because I lost a lot of weight. Like, I have lost a lot of weight during my weightless drive. No, during my when I was overweight until I got underweight, until I got normal weight, I lost a lot of weight. Exactly over 80 kilograms weight. Yeah. And now I'm a territory where I'm like, okay, I'm having to keep my weight. And in a way, I'm not even eating the food I used to eat when I was overweight because I don't want it anymore. Like, I have to actually find a way to actually, in that regard, also gain weight. Like, that is my new challenge, gain weight. Because doing all of this Christmas bedazzling of being in hospital and shit, it has put a lot of stress on my body. So stress kind of takes away weight from my body. And it does that to anybody. And if you're in a weight deficit, you kind of get... Can you be like, this is irresponsibly aesthetic. But yeah, like, having to do a lot of that, I kind of want to get back into the weight area where I feel like I want to be, because I'm not underweight right now. I'm not overweight. I'm normal weight, but I kind of have like a health goal to go towards when it comes to weight and aesthetics. And by most aesthetics in this regard, in my weight area. Yeah, I do have a great memory. Until you actually understand, I don't have a great memory, but I have a great memory in the regards that I also like acknowledge that this is me checking myself, like, in the way that I am needing to check myself, because being here in front of you guys and growing in the audacity that I have seen that I grow, gaining more views, it kind of gives me a role in the sense that a lot of people have shared with me a lot of their heartfelt distressing moments in life. And if you end up growing You end up being like an idol. I don't want to idolize myself without having the audacity to know that the one true thing that has given me a lot of joy doing this, except for actually me starting this whole situation with actually me unfocused on games, wanting to reclaim how I focus on games, so I can take part of the storylines that I love. And meanwhile doing that, I get a lot of people that, in the sense of internet and streaming and like whatever this can be called, overshare. And in my chat, oversharing is never oversharing; it's sharing. And in the great sense of that, it is a gift to me. Like for myself, having a part of like somebody's stressful moments in life is never over any type of harm, anything else than just a gift. Because those vulnerable moments is why I'm giving myself a cognitive dissonance check today. Because in that regard, I am enabled to actually understand that I have to take it calm. I have to take myself in the adjustments. Yeah, I would definitely advise you. Yeah, exactly. But in the same way, I'm doing it for aesthetic reasons. Like, I'm not doing it for, like, just out of... I'm in a normal weight. Like, this weight is not out of the normal. It is not underweight, but it's aesthetically, like, in that regard, I want to be, like, aesthetically better. And yeah, I think me and you actually have the exact same reasoning for stating that. And to that statement also, like, if I am to do that, stressors has to go down. So, by the way, my lights are at like, where the fuck is my lights? Yeah, there, I'm there. You can always tone your body as per choice. Yeah, and in that regard, as I said, I'm doing it for aesthetic reasons. But gaining weight can be very hard if you don't eat like if you end up like loving fruits instead of candy, if you end up like hating potato chips and like fat food, and then you have to like point yourself towards pizza, like it's an incentive to like having to do that. In the same way, when you're overweight and you actually just, I have to avoid pizza, that is kind of like where I'm like upside down. And it's not out of any reasoning, like other than that I am trying my best to actually eat pizza. My breakfast was pizza. The audacity of that being a problem. And it's not because I like have a cognitive dissonance in the sense that I want to like be anorectic or anything. No, I just want to eat like this food because you shouldn't eat foods. You need to eat healthy foods, and so yeah, I do eat healthy foods, but in the way that I actually just trying to gain weight. You need to eat over, like you need to make your food into like compartments of stored fat. And doing that is not what my healthy diet. Actually, I have a healthy diet. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going here. I'm going to go elk hunting on Red Dead Redemption, probably. Like, that is all. But out of aesthetic reasons, I just like to do my makeup because it makes me feel better. But yeah. I am really supposed to go somewhere regarding the pep flute and all. I'm actually having a singing audition that I have to like postpone because I have to admit I have to take it slow. So I actually have to be slowed down. And that is what, just in a day and without any plan, I am actually streaming to keep myself in the company of. Do you know that you need to take it slow? I'm from northern Norway. I'm living in Tromsø. Tromsø is like where penguins and elks and bears are part of the human like population. It's not. I'm joking, but yeah, it's northern Norway with the aurora borealis and everything. I'm from that place, and it's very dark here. right now. I could show you, but that means I have to like show you on an update on my phone. So yeah. Yeah, Magnus Carlsen, the Czech dude. He's from there. And yeah, he's kind of autistic and very good at Czech. I never met him though. Röyksopp, which is a fantastic band. A lot of people know about Röyksopp. They are from Tromsø. And I love Röyksopp, but I can't play the music because chess. You see, my knowledge is unfathomably stupid at that point. I don't have the patience for chess, checkers. I don't have the patience, and you're gonna have to have the patience. I think I won one time against my ex-boyfriend in chess because I actually just randomly were quick enough in that game to get it upper hand, and yeah. You can exploit my weakness in patience in that regard. I am impatiently impatient. By the way, I can blow your kiss, yeah? And I can. This is honey. And I'm gonna blow a lot of kisses now. So yeah. This is a pep flute. In my regard, I use it. I'm glad to hear. Being idolized on the screen, as a lot of streamers end up being. It's not in my way, shape, or form something I want to be without having the way I am also playing a part of very many people's like sharing moments. A part of ending up not listening or being distracted enough, and that in that regard I hope to be corrected by them to actually making a fail safe before actually growing to that state, or actually just making it so I'm gonna have like a mailbox address into this sound is because I'm actually incapable of burping. So if I eat and I get stuck like I can't burp. Like I can try. I can actually puke on would you believe it? I can actually throw up kind of like on cue. And that is not something I wanted to share without actually being also sharing that I used to be no, I can't burp. It's kind of like a sphincter being in your butt. You have that in your throat. When you burp, you do it exactly the same as a sphincter does. And if you have a too tight sphincter in your throat, yeah, lol, you can't burp. So what you can do to overcome that situation is actually you can throw up. But I can't throw up like I'm gonna show this out of the audacity. I have no like ability. I don't have like a throw up reflex in my throat. But I can after enduring a lot of it. That's crazy. Yeah, it is crazy. To the point I actually have control of it. I can't burp, but I can kind of like force myself to like throw up a bit, but not throw up. I can throw up without throwing up on cue because I just did it. No gag reflex, yeah. But I can force my gag reflex. Like I just did that. But I didn't gag, like. I can do it like because I was going through a lot of like surgery. And post-surgery, removing my gallbladder is part of that. And it is because I lost a lot of weight. And now I want to gain weight. And I'm doing it like in a way have to take it calm. I have no gag reflex, and it doesn't bother me to throw up either. I kind of like used to have like the phobia of throw up. Like I used to be phobic of throwing up, but I have no phobia of throwing up anymore. But I do have a phobia of like food, like old food. I have a phobia. But if I throw up, I have no phobia. You can like make jokes with me while I'm throwing up, and I'm just like, yeah, isn't this fun? It doesn't affect me at all. Like anything at all. Other than one thing affects me. One thing affects me. If I get like stomach acid in my nose cavity, and it kind of burns, or the stomach acid gets burning somewhere here. That is the only effect I have. Like, fucking hell, that is annoying. Because it burns. Like, it burns in the ring of fire. Yeah, it burns. Acidity, yes. That's the only thing that bothers me with throwing up. And yeah, I have no fucking... I have no problem with gag reflexes. To the extent that your comment actually correct. Yeah, it is correct. In a factual manner. For purposes that can actually be some kind of good. It is silly street, but it is true. And the truth stands corrected always. In the same way, I am actually like, I'm getting ready for the day where I have to actually postpone something that adheres to who I am with, and it's information that adheres to who I am with to answer. In the regard, this is not the state of sexual talk. It's a secret. It's a big secret. This is iced coffee. It's coffee in a Zelda cup. This game I never finished. Oh no, I can't. You're not one of those guys. So this pet flute, drinking iced coffee. We're gonna do 10 reps of blowing kisses. In the audacity that this is actually singing territory. Wrong breathing exercise, wrong breathing, taking that back. In the case that I'm actually getting dizzy with just a 5 reps, I'm gonna have to stop that. This I use in the same way a cancer patient who have like removed stuff from their diaphragm uses. And the reason I got this is because my sister fucking beat living dead shit out of my reason of knowing that this is a thing that she used beating cancer. Like, she is a monster. And I use it to wake up my diaphragm in the way I am actually waking up my diaphragm just because I'm a singer. I have no cancer. And the same way I'm dizzy because I have no muscle like adherency as the same way I used to have when I was singing opera. And I'm usually doing that in the same way I also did that 10 times. Like breathing exercises, you have to do it like breathe the whole way out. Use your stomach, loose your stomach like you're actually dropping your stomach to the ground. Like kind of get fat and drop your stomach like. And when you're out of air, you just drop your jaw. And the breath you take back there will be exactly the breath. Well, you can be extremely perverted and naughty, and it's actually just you're welcome to be that in my chat because my chat is uncensored. The way I respond is also the way that I might censor that, but it's okay. It's funny, just okay with me. Like I'm not bothered by anything of that. Don't worry. But yeah, this is how you breathe. And breathing exercise when you get breath back into your nasal cavity. You feel your part of stomach like you kind of use your stomach to breathe. And yeah, meanwhile I'm 34. Like this is the part of stomach you use. And yeah, I have makeup on me now because my blush kind of like, yeah. Anyway, this is the part of stomach you use. And I'm gonna use my pep fluid to show that to an extremely naughty person that probably will sexualize this, but it's not, it's all capacity, like uncensored in my chat, but censored by me. And this I'm doing because this is actually singing. And if you ever have anxiety, yeah, I am kind of showing my waist. It's just is a horrible way to show it. But I have to show my waist in this regard. If I'm not showing my waist, you won't see breathing exercises. If you have anxiety, do this exercise. If you have perverted minds, just know that is also uncensored. I have a very tiny waist, and we have to have our waist in actually viewpoint, because this is the muscles we are using. So yeah, in that regard, breathing exercises starts here. If you have to breathe, this is the muscles to breathe. Do you see how my hands just stretch there? That is your diaphragm. It is exactly where your waist is. Your waist. So when you have your hands on your waist, there. If you have anxiety, do that. We are going to do a full fucking exercise of breathing exercises that also adheres to anxiety people. Know that I am well versed in breathing exercises to the point where we are going to do a full fucking warm up. Putting our hands behind our head. Yeah, this is also where we have to have some kind of capacity of actually seeing my body in the full view. I might have to tip or pivot the camera because pivoting means I have to also fix that. But fucking hell. Yeah, pivoting my camera. And we have to go into this perspective just a moment. I'm doing this as I am also hindering myself. Like, I'm not gonna go to that singing audition because I need to. Fucking hell, that is the wrong thing. I have to actually stop myself from overachieving on the car. Oh god. Can I just fit you to screen, transform, and reset, fit to screen? Gonna have to see my body in this regard. With a very perverted person in chat. But yeah, do this. And then you take your elbows into, like, try to meet your elbows here. And then just look down. These muscles we are actually giving a rest now. These muscles we never give a rest. Unless you either do what I just did, or try to make yourself have a double chin. That is the only times you give those muscles in the back of your head a rest. And whoever you are, do that. if you're having anxiety, do that often. And if you have the audacity to like just do the exercise like I did, you get a whole spine stretch, and not just a double chin stretch. Like you get to crawl that spine and just let it stretch you. And when you come up, oh god, you haven't stretched that part of you. And I can guarantee it, because in the same way I have learned that from an opera singer. That is actually, and this is just pure honey. So actually what you have to do to get yourself to stretch your whole spine. And since I can't stand showing more of this, I have to like go back into pivot country. As I'm really thin, yeah. Too thin right now, because my ideal body, right now I am 50 kilograms. Meaning I am still into the area where I'm not underweight. I am perfectly weighted into a normalcy, but I am not perfectly weighted into an aesthetic way. So my perfect ideal is 60 kilograms. If I am near 60 kilograms, I get to get my waist into like, my height is 1.65 centimeters, meaning I'm like, oh god, what is that in? I'm gonna translate this measurements into like what it means. I think it's like 5'3". No, wait, we have to Google this shit, because I'm actually bad at doing the measurements into like the other ways. So feet, isn't that what they use? And then we just like do centimeters here into, yeah. So I'm 5.3. That wasn't far. 5.4 feet. So I'm actually perfectly heighted to like have always wear high heels and stuff, even with short kings around my hands. And to be honest, I like my height, but in the way that I don't like my myself being like, yeah, it's a perfect ideal height for a girl. And yeah, I think people can pick me up and like just take me there where they want me, and I kind of like that. In the way, I just had to balance my camera. In the way that in the regards of being a woman is also the reason why I'm actually, like, this wasn't a planned stream, and you can of course see that I'm not done moving my setup, because I have to adhere to, I cannot lift. Yeah, 60 is my ideal, and if I get the audacity to get like, because I have been overweight to the point I have been overweight. I was diabetic with type 2 diabetic, and when I was diabetic, I had to start losing weight. I started losing weight, and in the process of losing so much weight, I have to remove my gallbladder this Christmas, because it got deadly. I also have to, like, it can be stress, but it can also be weight related, and it can be genes, like these kind of genes, but like genes. And I have diabetic people in my bloodline, and one of my most dearly missed grandmothers was diabetic type 1, I think. She had like to take needles, like eat, and she was tiny and skinny, and she always rolled like a queen in the back seat of the car. And my grandfather is such fantastic. Yeah, thank you for the posture check. I'm gonna take that into a translated cognitive dissonance check. Like, my dearly missed grandfather is still alive, and he is like, he's a bit of a loner, but he's like in his 80, I think he's 84 years, 85, no, 87 actually, 87 years old. and he is a carpenter by trade, and he is also a Mormon. I'm not a Mormon, but his way of living is like he's living past the death of my dear grandmother, and he had remodeled his home, and he's just like, it's a long life, but it's still like he's cognitively there. Like he isn't like, he always had like chocolate things he always had around him. Chocolate, a notebook. Oh, I'm not giving you the fingers. Chocolate, a notebook, and like a Munkholm alcohol-free like beer. That was the things he daily had. And then he was like humming around, like, and I just loved it, man. It probably is lonely, but in the way he does it, he does it into work, and I really wish I could just go to his house and meet him, but he lives far south, so it's not just about going there. I have like a lot of friends and family that's not far south, and I miss my aunts. I miss everybody that I don't have contact with, to the point I want to have contact with them, but I don't know how to get contact. No, I'm not. I didn't move up north alone, but like a lot of my family is scattered around Norway, and Norway is like a long country. We're gonna use our pep flute, but this is actually a good way representing Norway. I'm gonna do it mirror imaged. So yeah, here up here, I am living, and my family lives here. Like my closest family, mom, dad, and siblings. My like grandfather lives here in the middle part, or this part, like past the middle part, approximately. A lot of my family lives on this part, like Bodø and south towards Mo i Rana, towards like on the far south, like Stavanger and stuff. And I never been to Stavanger. I want to go there. Like my aunts are the people that helped me save my father. My father's pictures from he's a war veteran. My father pictures from when he was in the war. I didn't get to save his uniform with bullet holes and all because he refused to depart. I had to save his pictures thanks to my aunt that actually helped me, like, being refused. They went behind his back and let me have his picture. As a war veteran is in every capable form of saying no, but at the same time he's my dad and I have to have him. Like, I have to have his picture, even though I know understand his refusal. Because my father is a war veteran, so him having a uniform with bullet holes, having seen war in the capable manner that he has, the reasons to be a PTSD war veteran with all the audacious mind of having me doing something morally wrong against his own request, that I have to, like, my aunts helped me secure a picture of him from the part of his life that he wants to leave behind because it's filled with war. War with all the grotesque and horrible parts of why a war veteran would have PTSD. But having that picture, I can have a picture of my father. I'm going to show actually another picture of my father because we are very similar in the way that he actually worked for a radio station, and when I'm going to show this, but we are very similar. And my father, he has undergone like a lifetime of living with, like, the reason he quit war is me. I am the living incarnation of why he came back and didn't go into war again, because he got my mother pregnant with me, and in that regard I was the only planned sibling in my like, we are 7 totally. We are 7 kids, and I am the only one that was planned, and I'm his first born daughter. I do have another bigger sister, and she's my half sister. It's better than he did not go, yeah. Because if he went back, he probably wouldn't be alive, as a lot of war veterans either become a veteran or they die. Like, and the reason my father is alive is probably because of me. Otherwise, he would be going back to war. He did go, like a lot of men go to war in regards of having like gone to. I'm just gonna pause this because this actually is a video. This is my I have to turn down the screen light. Like, this is my father when he worked in radio. Like, do you see the similarities? Like, we are very similar. And I kind of wanted to have his, like, when he came, when the other pictures, that is before my even conception. I think. Otherwise, it is after him starting to work, like when I was young. He was very fine. Like, I have a lot of pictures from him when I was a little child. Like, he looked like Johnny Depp, just with like a fit body. But this picture that I saved, he's a very handsome man, and he's just turned his 60. Like, he just turned 60 years old this 13th of December, and I gave him his like, he loves the same whiskey as me, because he was the one that presented this whiskey to me, and that whiskey is what I gave him. It's called Vat 69. It is also like on par with bourbon territory, like Jack Daniels. It's a good whiskey. So I gave him his favorite whiskey as a gift, because I have given it to his. But in that regard, my mother and father knows more about that. But yeah, there was an affair, and my half sister is not in any way like, it's just biologically a half sister. But he have treated her like his real sister. Like, she's my real sister, bigger sister. Treated her like his daughter, in the sense that she has a strange relationship to him, because he kind of like ended up refusing her to meet her dad, because she wanted to like save my sisters from like, she lost her dad in her 16th year, and in that regard she did a lot of like rebellious things. But her dad was like an alcoholic, and the regard he wanted to like refuse him into her life wasn't like a refusal. It was more like he was such a drunkard that he didn't have the capacity to be a father. And in that way, my bigger sister, when she lost her father, because he died to, I think it was a kind of cancer that also almost killed her, reason why I'm actually having a pep flute. He had cancer, but he was a drunkard, and in that regard was too weak to actually, he succumbed to it, I think. She was 16 years old and ended up like rebelling, and since that part of trauma entered her life, she have a strange relationship to my father, of course. But I have seen my father after, like, people, when she was 16 years old, she went to the capacity to drink a lot. Like, 16 years old are not, they are not the one that is at fault here. Rebelling, like, she's, instead of going to school, she went to parties. It's not her fault. Like, I would never hold a child accountable for doing something like that. That was her way of like not understanding trauma entered her life. So don't take her rebellious at any, like, what I'm gonna say now. Yeah, adult parties. At some capacity, my mother sent me along with her. I didn't, because I was such a gamer. I just wanted to sit alone in my. I made my closet into a gaming station, which my like younger brother, Björn, found very funny, because it looks very funny when you kind of make your closet into like a closeted. It was just kind of like a shelf unit, and I fitted into it. She's fine now. Yeah, like she beat the living crap out of fucking cancer and everything, and she like had to, in my capacity, having removed an organ, like just a gallbladder, she had to remove like a lung, and a lot more, like half her diaphragm. Reason why I got this into my life, she gave me one because she had to actually be one of those cancer patients that had to like reclaim her diaphragm after losing half of it. She is a machine. in the sense that I am honoring her. In a way, I hope you understand that the rebellious phase she was facing is in all capable manner something I see her as a warrior through. I do have a good if I do have a good relationship to others, yeah, I'm kind of autistic in the way that I kind of like can't underestimate my ability to actually fail myself, kind of, in the way that I'm also like in family. I want to have more contact with my family that is lower in Norway, like that. I don't have like my aunts that help me with the picture, with every one of their kids that I know too little about. That I'm actually like I try to get in contact with my cousin, who is equally a musician on the spectre that he is actually making like music I have no idea how to make, and he is doing it in a capacity that I'm just like, do you want to have like a collaboration? Like we have to do something to like creativity wise, because he is such an awesome musician. And I know him. He's in the same age group as me, but I don't know him that much. I'm gonna show a picture of him because I tried to contact him, but in the way that I'm giving like myself, yeah, we should collaborate. We should also get to know each other because I don't know him enough. And he probably is busy in his life. His name is Chris, and we don't have time always to like respond and stuff, especially not in Christmas territory. So I'm gonna find his Instagram just to show you the picture of him, because we're kind of similar. Also, if I can actually find a picture that well, I didn't find a lot of pictures of him, but he's very good at what he does musically. This is him. Yeah, Chris, if you see this, take your time responding to me, but know that I am actually wanting to have like a relationship with you, in the way that you are too close to have seen you around me growing up, and then too far to feel like I am actually knowing who you are. And you are one of those that I've seen growing up, here and there and everywhere, alongside with my aunts. Like, and we have just like seen each other, and we haven't gotten to know each other. And I kind of have the same regards to my younger brothers, that like Levi, which is my youngest brother. I know him, seen him. I know every part of his way of growing up. Like, yes, we have a lot of good-looking people in our family. Absolutely. And we have a lot of good-looking women, good-looking men, and we are looking very good. We are also very weirdos, and to the capacity that everybody is like autistically good at one field. Levi, which I'm talking about, is artistically good at doing winter sport, to the point that he is an adrenaline junkie. Thank you very much. Well, I can see one right in front of me. Thank you, that is so kind. He's an adrenaline junkie that is so good at skiing and winter sport. If he doesn't get challenged in the regard that he is actually needing to go into competition career-wise, doing winter sport, he will be one of those that is actually right now in this 14th year. I want to do modeling. Just if somebody have modeling offers, I can do modeling. I have the perfect frame for modeling. Just you do know that I want to do modeling, and I would be doing that. I have had like offers in modeling that I have refused already, even though I am like trying to enter modeling. But just this digression is actually important. I'm gonna put up like email addresses for these types of like Japan. Yeah, but I have already like refused certain offers, even though I'm trying to get into modeling and stuff, because it wasn't in the right field and in the right, like, I'm a businesswoman. I've studied business. I know how to do a business deal to the degree that it's always one losing hand, and I'm not going to be the losing hand when I do a business like agreement. So in the part that I'm actually trying to get like networking modeling, I'm also having myself in a higher standard in that regard. I am a businesswoman. Studying business is business, and I don't do it for the money. I do it more for the experience. Um, like I could say that in the way that I am in financially like territory where I am like kind of poor because it's very expensive living here. I'm not doing like streaming hoping to beg for money. I beg for forgiveness more because I'm gonna be idolized if I grow to the capacity that people share things in my view and I don't get to see them. While that is a gratitude in me, like having to share in somebody's life is never gonna be financially in a disposition. Like it's a deficit if I like. That is why I'm also making like an own like post box like for email addresses for business offers for people who took me for being distracted enough to not see their oversharing or sharing with me to the point where I want them to actually know that that is one of the things that I'm grateful for. Getting to know people here. When I actually started the channel just trying to focus on gaming. And I'm actually, yeah, Norwegian money is very like we are rich. We are a very rich country. The whole bill being in hospital over like I'm just gonna take this into like a context. I might be a kind of poor woman in regards to the whole bill I get from being like hospitalized, surgery, ambulance going for 3 hours, 3 hour ride in an ambulance, and all the food, all the care, all the bandages, everything she performed, the hoteling that I was like, I'm not gonna take a bedpost, but I do want to stay close, as I was actually just having pain. I do have pain medication to take away that pain. I was just uncertain if I should go home in that regard. The hotel bill, the fantastically like high-end buffets, everything there. The whole bill I have from that stay being like 2 weeks, maybe I haven't like thought about it, is 1,000 kroner, which is $100 approximately. 1,000 kroner, and that is just from not the hospital, but from the like emergency care unit. That's the whole bill I have, which is why Norway is a extremely sought after and rich country to live in. Like I am in the regards of my like life. It's not much at all. It's not much. Like if you take into account that I have been living in the hospital over like days, getting treatment like surgery, getting like pain medications and care, like $100. What is your currency, Lolshot? Where do you come from, by the way? Because it is a bill, but in the regards that all that I have gotten from it, you're from India. Okay, so what kind of currency do you use there, actually? You don't use yen. You use rupees, don't you? Rupees. And I actually never been to India. Rupee, almost like Zelda, but yeah, not in the regards that rupees are diamonds in Zelda. Like, yeah, it is very cheap. Like getting fed, stayed, and everything. Like the only thing I have is a bill from the emergency care unit, which is actually the one expensive part of like healthcare in Norway, because that is an emergency unit. And on the emergency unit, you are kind of like having to meet. Like I was waiting for somebody in the other room that was dying. In that regard, emergency care units are the most stressed place of healthcare. And I know that Fludium, you are working into the field of emergency care or emergency health care. That I have like seen you be sick in Christmas. It's not okay with me that you had to like have the flu in Christmas. Looking at an ambulance here is around, yeah, That's probably the only thing I was built. And like you having the flu while you finally got a break, like I don't know, that's rough, and I don't like that. So yeah, a lot of people in the field of healthcare is like the real good people to have. When you have somebody dying in the other room and you have to wait patiently, like a patient. I was also dying in the regards I was actually dying, but in the regard he was having like heart compressions. God, the audacity of me, like how much longer until I get pain medication. They couldn't give me pain medication because they were actually acknowledging that I might be dying, and I was, because like I had pancreatitis, meaning that I had like a infection in my pancreas from the gallbladder giving gallstones, in the way that it was actually so high I couldn't avoid being like hospitalized. So in a sense I was dying, yeah, but dying in the sense that it could treat it, and it's very like it's treatable. It's so terrifying to me, which is why I'm also like having a cognitive like dissonance check with me, because I am here today. Like I might try to like reach that singing audition, but it is another one coming the 19th, so it's no necessary reasons for me to reach that singing audition, since I can just wait for the 19th and have the same reaction, like responsibility there. And the only singing audition, like that is not money, that is just me wanting to sing with like the chamber choir in terms of like just doing like choir work. And they have two like dates, which is the 12th day and the 19th, and there's no stress, except that I have to do this cognitive dissonance check with myself, because in a way that I am actually doing this for my own self, just wanting to be in a church singing. I can do that on the 19th, but I can't take it, like I can't calm down and have like resting situations without me actually feeling like I need to do something. I'm bored. There's a huge demand for business and foreign in India as well. Yeah, I guess. I don't know if I want to live in another country. Like the closest country I want to live in, like there's two countries I'm wanting to go back to, or one I haven't never been in. I've never been in Japan. I don't know if I want to live there, but I want to see that country. And whenever I've been in England, I kind of feel like at home. And we have like a bloodline that has actually nobility in England, or in like, is it England or is it like Ireland? I'm not sure. We have nobility bloodlines from England, but whenever I'm in England, like now we have like a political situation in England that is making me like, no, you can't go to England. But whenever I'm in England, I get this calming feeling like I'm home. Cannot understand why, because I've been in England like twice, I think. Twice. I know a model from Japan. She is a Twitch streamer as well. She's from Europe. Europe is a good way where I want to stay. Kind of, I like to be in Europe. Even though there is a lot of turmoil here, like I have Russian blood in me too, in the sense that we know that Russia and Ukraine and everything like that. I'm not a political inclined to talk about anything political really, because I don't interest myself into the political field. I just know that it is a war. A war never changes. In the same way that I feel at home in England, but in the way that Norway has treated me like a goddess, as I am actually in need of help. Like to that degree that I am so happy Norway is a rich country. I can stay comfortably here in a way that I'm actually like poor, because it's such an expensive country, in the way that Tromsø is a business port. Like there's a lot of people living here. Most people that like me, you ask if I live alone. I do live alone. Like in a way that I'm actually looking for a bigger home, a bigger place to live, because right now I'm living in a studio apartment. I want to live in an apartment. So, but it's so expensive here that it is actually is a market that is driven by people traveling from Oslo on business up to Tromsø, which Tromsø is one of the main ports for business. Knowing that from a business perspective, as I have done business, like I have been studying business, been into business, into the main regards that Tromsø is a business port. It is a business port in the way that it is either tourism or trade, like fishing trade. We are one of the main like porters of like logistically giving fish to, for example, Japan. The business of entertainment and theater. I just want to be like part of the storytelling. Like my passion in life is theater, drama. I want to do voice acting. I want to do like theater. I want to do like scenic art. Like I want to do these things. That is like, it's not something I want to do. It's something I can't stop doing. Like even though I have been stopped doing a lot of my, like why I studied business was because I was going into business. I had to stop that because I was like faced with like my body at the same time going down into weight and going down in weight, like in the same response to I'm actually doing this today because I have to like take a knee and say cognitive dissonance also comes into the field where I'm actually unable to take it seriously, that I have to like rest because in my mind rest is equal to boredom, and I'm a woman, so I'm a kind of also in the way that I'm boring myself to death to actually have to cognitively check myself to say you have to rest because they removed an organ, and you're, even though it is like like surgery that is very very mild in the degrees that I just have to rest, it's nothing that I'm like sick from after this, other than my mind like saying this is boring. I'm also faced with like turmoils around people that I love and people that I have like to, in the same way I'm not able to rest, see that I have like overworked myself to the point where I actually have been disrespected by a lot of things around me in the way that I have been vulnerable, and how to like in my own way shape and form say you're a woman, you are supposed to be weaker, and in the same regard also feeling like a lot of things for these people that I'm seeing, like where I have to actually adhere to a kind of respectful manner, being like the part that actually loves somebody and has to like also take myself into the cognitive dissonance that I'm talking about. Like resting to me is boredom. A woman safe in Norway, or are they safe? No, we are safe as can be. I'm a safe woman in the regards I have such a care unit around me, being deathly ill, that I am like thankful for everything that I don't have like economy to like change. Like being in this city, Tromsø is like a business port, so businessmen buy like in my regards I want to find a better place to stay that isn't a studio apartment, but it's so expensive here because the like in the way people buy estates here, they buy it in the business way, that people that do business and is rich come to Tromsø, buy an apartment either for the children living here, since university is also one part of the main industry of Tromsø. Tromsø has tourism, we have fish trade that is going worldwide fish trade, and we have like university degrees. So every part of my looking for a better home is on the competition that is like having to adhere to a high priced market beyond like rationale. Like I have been overclocking myself as the same way I'm overclocking my computer, because at the same time I'm overclocking my computer, I'm waiting for scalpers that is like raising the price on computer parts to have their like economically possible way of actually extending my computer to the point where it's like growing in the pace of the gaming world, and content I want to make on the long shot have to grow technologically. The market competition in technological fields are like it's so heavily weighted on, first of all, components that scalpers are buying up is like in a reduced market ability to actually overcome their scalpers fees, because they are buying up to sell higher prices in a field that is already high priced, and they are lingering on the fact that these components are able to be put into a scalper's hands raised price, because like lithium batteries and like the parts that goes into making computer parts, technology parts, are coming from rare mined like minerals and stuff, which is in a deficit in the regards that scalpers can rise the price. So in the business perspective of actually being a businesswoman, I do not buy into a market that has been marketed up unless I profit from it. So in that regard, I can't actually end up like investing into my computer before I see it's business-wise okay with my business perspective, which scalpers make impossible because I'm not in with that deal. That's a very cold way of stating that scalpers is a problem. If I had been in on that deal, I wouldn't have a problem with it, as I could grow my content to the point where I'm actually profiting from it from a business view, from a business perspective. But from a personal perspective, morally wise, is a problem. That is like scalpers is a problem in the same regards that the business people in Tromsø is a problem for the marked up business has been like scalping apartments and like housing. Because we are the main port of like people from I've been working in hotel industry a lot in my life, so being like a receptionist in the regards, I have done a lot of like the work that is like in touch with tourism and the main trade of Tromsø being tourism and Italia, Asia, and I think to regard that is the main like tourists trade. Like we have a lot of Asians here all year round because they are like coming to see the aurora borealis, and this is where like in Tromsø is where the main aurora borealis happens. Like we can see it every day, even sometimes in the summers. But like the aurora borealis is basically nitrogen entering into our hemisphere, and the point that our like world is like spinning like this, and we are on the magnetic pole getting the aurora borealis. So as long as the sun has a sunstorm that casts out like fire, we get like a lot of the nitrogen into our atmosphere. And whenever that is like experiencing, you can see the pictures online. It is in no way, shape or form that every day. A lot of tourists think that is an everyday. No, but if there has been very often like sunstorms that gives us those pictures, and those pictures are representative of having aurora borealis into the way that is actually accurate. And in my regard of being a content creator in the place of aurora borealis, if I ever see a sunstorm that makes that appear in the sky, you're gonna see it through me. I just have to be like keep myself like knowing when it happens, because I don't always go out in the end of the day, like when it's dark all day around here now, because it's darkness times. Like we have like 1 hour of sunlight. Like around Christmas that changes and it goes like the sun comes back. So be us pivoting. Do I have something to like show it? So this is this is my main. Being a beauty blogger, like get ready with me. My main for like loving brand. It's like GRWM meteorites. I love this brand. But like if this is the like if that is the earth, we are pivoting here. So like now it's gonna go back into like summer. So we are gonna get the midnight sun. So it's gonna get like from full darkness to full light. Are you considering marrying and then moving together? Like marriage in the regards that I am a woman. If I ever am to say yes to one who wants to marry me again, and I actually say yes, I say yes to actually that is the man that actually has to be the one to take control. And on my point of view, if I ever say yes to a man, that man is in full control of being the leader. So yeah, whatever he says, if I am to say yes to somebody, I am a woman who wants to be a woman. And in the same regard, having a cognitive dissonance check with me today, just saying that you have to also adhere to being resting after this. Like in the same way, I have to like on my own now, and like I have to be the part that doesn't have like a leader. Like being a woman, having somebody lead you is a gift. You wouldn't understand how much I am against feminism, in regards that feminism actually created one of the best privileges a woman can get, from the perspective of having a high understanding. And I was very, when I did like when I did study history, even though I don't remember much about history teaching, I got a high like grade. I know in history's sake of perspective, from the antique and like from old Greek times, we were like women, we were put into the same category as children. It sounds so much worse, like disrespectful, but if you think about it, as women in the same regard as children is truthfully where we are vulnerable. In the same regard children are vulnerable. We are vulnerable people, like biologically. We were put in that class because of being like in the same area as women and children first, because that was a privilege that men took war into their hands. Like, that was their field. They took it upon themselves to be the warriors, the one who took the hard decisions into their life, because they are biologically inclined to do that. They are made biologically to do that. That's their biological reason to exist. That is why they exist biologically, to be protectors. So in that regard, feminism in my eyes are like declining on the human scale. Like we have to be understanding of where we are as living, breathing people, biologically inclined to have a privilege when somebody can take control of the hard parts of life because they are biologically better at it physically and psychologically, and then understand that, yeah, if I'm ever to marriage, that part of male personality and like biologically inclination would be the leader of me, however that leadership would be. Me in the way that you, when you have saying your vows, you're like giving yourself. Will you be? I don't know how it sounds. What is actually like? Will you submit? I think it is. And yes, if I am to marry, I would submit, because what bigger way of giving somebody like my own, I'm giving myself a privilege that I'm now having to like be able to like be a woman, telling myself you have to like rest, and I'm like, yeah, but I have to do stuff. I'm stressing myself like over the limits, like I'm overclocking myself in the same way. I'm talking about overclocking my computer until scalpers doesn't like mark up the value of computer parts in the same way. I'm actually a businesswoman in that regard. I'm not going to pay more, and I'm not in the beneficial area of that deal. But yeah, marriage and men, like men are really the driving force that makes women privilege exist. I am not in that existential point, given that privilege to the point that I'm actually like having to like do resting stuff and think that is boring, because it is boring. Like you want to do stuff, and the way I'm driven, like I could do like business and work like that, but as I was doing business and studying business, I ended up having to like while I was going down in weight. It's a beautiful point of view, yes, and it is a beautiful view throughout history. Like this is historically given us women, and we have been stupid enough to create feminism to the point I am hating feminism. Yeah, equal rights. To the extent equal rights actually is good. Like I'm against like quotation into fields of like, for example, quotating people with under like if they are under point where they're actually like a person with worse like ability to adhere to that workstation they are quoted into. Like I'm against that. even though like in kindergarten we need more men, as there is like a womanly like overweight in the balance. We need more men because men are equally needed for the boys to have like a person to look up to, as they are like interfering with children that is growing up, looking for role models. But at the same regard, like I'm not for quoting in people into fields where they are just like a necessity. Like my doctor used to be a woman, now it's a man, and he's younger than me. Like he's 26 years old, and in that regard, like I am having to do a lot of like intimate things, like how I am like meeting a doctor intimate. But it's at the same regard, he is extremely qualified. Like the way he has been, in my view, having that doctor and seeing him like how fast he works and how he works, I cannot like underestimate that he is actually extremely qualified to be a doctor, and I'm actually very lucky, like having such a qualified doctor, even though it has like with me like being a woman into the field that I have to have doctor's care that is like both a man and a younger doctor, like having like that mental picture. But in the same regard, like he is more efficient than a lot of my doctors have been, like. So yeah, I am lucky. I just have like to swallow a lot of like that mental view. But at the same time, that is also a field where people are like quotated into. Like there is a lot of male nurses that like don't exist, and there is a lot of like overweight of female nurses. In the same regards, we are more emotionally inclined to take care of emotional like care of people. Nurses are emotionally caring for the patients, and there is a like need of male nurses, to the point I don't know if it's quotated in, but I'm woefully against quotation of fields, because people in the field of being quoted into anything is either quotated into a field of career based on the need of that sex having a bigger pool, using worse candidates of competence just to remain like pointed towards the sex balance being like skewed. And I'm against that. I want competence over quotated people. I want competence over anything. Like you don't get me into a more like that. I'm not politically inclined to care about politics in the same way that if I ever am having like saying yes to a man, like politics is one of the places where men said women are in the same regards like children, because we are given the way of don't having to need to take care of politics, and I don't care about politics. If I ever cheated in relationships, no. In the same way, like it doesn't like it doesn't have anything to do with anything. But yeah, like if I am in a relationship and if I ever am to marry, no. Like submittance as a mindful state. Yeah, in a physical sense. Why would I? My last relationship is like a horror story, and regardless, I'm still like, I can't. And a lot of people hate their exes. I can't hate people because I don't know actually how to hate people, because you play the devil's advocate in your mind too much, and I do that. You play the devil's advocate. In that sense, you end up understanding everything. You don't need to understand to like be reliantly. Like sometimes you have to like be stopping some noise just to be like responsible towards yourself. But in the same sense, I'm like devil's advocating myself into like I have to take in regards too much. Like that is a question I'm not going to answer in the regards. I'm going to talk about something else. But yeah, I don't think I have. Like it's very easy to distract me, but thought about that. entered my mind now, and I don't think I have. Like, I have an extreme, like, in the same sense that I'm actually talking about feminism. I have an extreme sense of like wanting to be a woman, feminine, in the regards I am not feminine enough to take rest, since I'm not like in that point of privilege. I think if there's ever something that goes into that state of like understanding kinks and stuff, I don't think I would call it a kink as much as I would call it like a necessity. And I'm overly like, well, that is something for the person that is joining into my situation when that happens, and it doesn't adhere to anything I'm gonna share like over any way. That is like holy territory, kind of like, and you're having to share like intimacy in the way you do with the partner. That is like a holy territory. And in that regard, in my point of view, like, wow, what a weird way to actually experience somebody. Like, you can't not experience somebody in that way without having like that moment being like, when that moment happened, that is a moment that is like, in my regard, holy, because you can't touch a person. Yeah, I know you have. I know you have. Like, you have a crazy foot fetish. I know that, and I kind of like, I have gratitude towards people with foot fetish, because if I ever am to marry a man and he has a foot fetish, I would have perfect foot. But like, in the same regards, I can't answer like how I can answer that question. I mean, you must have like something during sex, like, yeah, the holy moment between two people being in touch with something you can't reach without that situation happening. It's kind of profound in sense of the question not being profound. But yeah, you gotta distract me into that field, and it's kind of similar to like, yeah, I'm hating feminism because I am also, in that regard, like, maybe if Evan was like answering like you have a specific kink, no, I'm more like, I want to be like feminine. In exact that question, are there any specific kinks you have? I want to be feminine. I think that is the most way I can answer that question. And yeah, it's the same way I'm actually hating feminism, because it is so disruptive in historical ways of actually giving women a gift, and we are repaying it with actually thinking it's disrespectful, but it's not. Like, I don't care about politics, and a man should like give me the audacity to say, like, I don't care about politics, but politics have to happen. Like, some people have to, like, some people in the world have to take care of the world and the hard decisions. It's always a man. Like, I would prefer a man to do that job, as I have studied. And in the scientific area, I know that men in the favors of women in the business career I have done. Like, I have studied business, university business, to the point I know women in the way we have been scientifically monitoring this and testing it, also having like university degrees from actually scientific methods. Like, how do we do scientifically methoding? Like, how do that get done? The work of science tells that women are not authority in the way that men can be authority when it comes to like business, and women are more emotionally inclined to take care of the emotional way business is like done. So in the regards that I know that women are more emotionally inclined, we are more emotionally less authoritatively able to assert ourselves. A man will always be more authoritatively asserting himself passively. He doesn't have to use any force almost to be like authoritative. Like, it's kind of given in the frame of the biologically like environment of a man is always like, he is always the authority, and that is just biologically inclined in us. Yeah, like, a lot of women like to be worshipped, as you say, and that comes into adherence with the same as I talked about last time. Like, women want to be beautiful because beauty is the competence we give. So in a sense of way, like, a woman will be on the scale of a man being rich. Like, you can think about Marilyn Monroe saying like, yeah, you could marry an ugly woman, but you would prefer a beautiful one, wouldn't you? And I could marry a poor man, but I would prefer like a rich man. In the same sense, that statement is actually purely factual, isn't it? Like, women like to be beautiful people because that gives us a higher like score on the way that Jordan Peterson speak about how a woman is like giving her beauty to the way that a man is giving his point of like economically being competent enough. Like, you have to have so much competence, both like with money and with being like a good man that leads. That Jordan Peterson is one of the men that I've read all his books. I love his books, and I really love him in the sense that he's actually a driving force against a lot of things in the world that is like skewed. Wouldn't you prefer a handsome man over it? No, I wouldn't. I would prefer competence. Like, visually, I would prefer competence. I would never like in the way that I can also like be grateful for handsomeness, but yeah, it comes in a second. Like, I would prefer competence, and that is in a biological view. What I am also kind of like wanting to be feminine drives on the possibility of having a masculine competence to lead, to submit to be like a driving force of just the point of being able to like rest on my own privileges as a woman is in the field of having a competent man to lead. So yeah, in that regard, I can only give handsomeness, like beauty, a second degree. Like, I'm not marrying a woman, am I? No, I'm marrying somebody that has to take the leading role. And leadership comes in with having a voice that is higher than mine, in the way that I'm like comfortable to say yes. So if I am to say yes to somebody, of course, that has to be competence that drives that yes. So in that regard, yeah, if you're a man, that is under any way, shape, or form, and you can't escape it. Emotional connection is way more important than looks or status. Yes, but emotional connection comes between like, have you ever been like, are you female or male, Björkli? Like, are you a woman or a man? Because if a woman is met with a masculine person that also is giving her like care and like is giving her, you're a male, yes. Like, if you ever are in the you how you will treat a woman is probably with the point of view that you are taking care of her. You want to care for her. You have like a want to care for her, probably. Like, and in that, like, if you're in love with somebody, you want to care for that person you're in love with, and that and if you are not like inclined to love men, I'm not sure how that, if somebody is like not heterosexual, understands it, but in a heterosexual point of view, you would care for that woman, and that woman would love to be cared for, and in that emotional connection that is happening. Well, of course they have, but yeah, not in the same way a man is you can't escape it. You can't escape it. It will do itself if you don't do it. So yeah, that is kind of like how you keep your seeds clean. In the same way women have periods. We have periods for the same reason you kind of have to like clean seeds. But yeah, the human emotional connection between male and female, if you're in a heterosexual kind of relationship, comes into adherence with the biological need of actually seeing it. Male perspective might want to care for, and visually wants a beautiful frame to look upon because you're visually inclined, while a woman would like to be cared for and vulnerable, in the sense that we want to support, like we want to heal you, we want to see your tears, and like we want to make you strong by the way that we want you to be like met with like a kind of fragile but in the same time like supportive manner. Like, women can't end up like being anything less than just a supportive person. That kind of like, if you look upon it like chivalrous, like when the knight comes back from battle, we are the one to patch them up with the scars they had hid, and we are the one to like dry the tears of our own bestial form that is protecting us, because we are the one to protect them against what they have to be scared of, which is always the emotional part, because a man needs control in the way that they don't have like the capacity to be vulnerable and fragile emotionally, while they are taking all the control of being warriors, politically figures, authority. We have to be the one that supports them when they come back from war or doing hard choices, and need to take a fragile knee. Like they come home to a fragile place that they have to be saved from their own need of being like a driving force for human nature, like politicians taking hard choices in war, warriors taking damage from war. Somebody that takes leadership into accountability, that it has to be the one that takes the world upon their shoulders. That is emotional connection between a man and a woman heterosexually. That is all that is safety for them, while they are also trying to like care for a fragile person, because a man will also see a woman fragile, and that is inescapable. So if you are like a woman and seeing a man, you have to also adhere to like, I am the person that always will care upon the point that I need to be cared for. So like biologically speaking, that is all emotional connections come from. Like he will be saved from his like way of needing something that he is like biologically inclined to have less sensitivity in like emotional fields, but he still needs emotional fields. Like he's not a machine, so in a way he needs safety. Emotional connection is built on safety between two people trusting each other. So in that regard, he comes home to somebody that is he can be saved supportively. Like, I can support his tears with the trust that those are not like any shape or form a way of like weakness, as he can trust me to carry those tears as something that isn't seen upon as weak, as a man will have to always like be strong, and men are always having to carry the world on their shoulders. Like that is insane. Knowing how I also like cognitively had to like stop myself from actually like overclocking myself as I do with my computer. I know a man has a world without ever being that in the adherence of privilege. I could be privileged to like one day submit myself to somebody that could take all those choices for me. Are you even like, feministically? That is disruptive for all the sense of purpose, that this is actually how we always interfere. Like that is all we do. When we love somebody, we incline to give them what they need, and safety, trust, and emotional connection is the driving force that gives these like pivotal points of like biological reasons, existential value. Like, well, either you like, how is the right way? Well, either you do it when you do it, or it does itself by cleaning out the slave. Like either it does itself, or you do it when you do it. And I am in no shape or form inclined to know how that works, like practitionally. Just do it when you do it, and if you don't, it fixes itself. In the same way, a woman can't like, escape periods, because that is a way to keep the same process clean from like bad eggs. Like there's always a bad egg in the carton. But yeah, actually, talking about eggs, I usually eat a lot of eggs because it has a high protein value. But I have only once in my career of eating eggs until the point that I'm so sick of eggs, it's like it's hard to eat eggs, but you have to like shove it into your face out of like You need to have proteins to the degree that it is like not in a deficit, so you can build like muscles. Where I have like lost muscles in my diaphragm, to only have one encounter, and I have eaten so many eggs. Like eggs is one of my main stars of today. I have only one time I found an egg with a double plum, and I think that is kind of funny because we get a lot of twins, but I only once in my time of eating eggs, like to do that on the daily, and only once had a twin egg, and it was like, wow, this is intriguing. Like I had to like I had to make like an update on it, like just show it into my friends, like this happened. It's weird. Do you think a man should seek to do it or let it happen? Like the urge comes when the urge comes. Let nature take its course. In the same way, like you shouldn't think so much. Like yeah, man, don't think so much about that. Let it happen when it happens. And in the same regards, like morally, like maybe you have a moral inclination of actually questioning that, and in the same manner, like do know that you're morally a person that is inclined to have like humane error. Don't be like bad towards yourself when you are like you're both biologically inclined to do it. In the same way, you're also biologically inclined to have like a moral compass. Maybe you are in a religious viewpoint, looking upon it as it's frowned upon in many. Like I'm Christian. Maybe you were Christian. Yeah, exactly. It can be unbearable. So if you are in midst of that, do not kill yourself over like having bad moral ground and hate yourself if you have like a religious point of view that makes it hard for you to actually adhere to biology too. Do try to balance out that in a way that you can understand that in the sense that Christendom tells you that you will never be perfect, original sin and all that. And in the same way, biologically, you're inclined to do it until you say that it is unbearable. Yeah, then let it happen and do carry the moral ground in a middle way. Like you can do it with like an observing cognitive view of having middle ground. And in that point of view, kind of like let it be restfully stressless. Since it is both a biological reason for it, and at the same time, it might be a moral drive force religiously and like morally. So try to find the middle ground. And the middle ground for me today is actually just having like a moment of like we have to like do something. And my point was like I have no content today other than just like I'm gonna start today by just playing some Red Dead Redemption. I kind of like Arthur Morgan in a way. He has like this voice, this kind of like he has this voice and figure that a woman might like get out of my damn way. I kind of laugh about it a lot, but in the same way, he has like this male personal like way of being that is kind of like get that fucking thing out of your damn view, woman. Get rest. I kind of like that today. Let's just. It takes a lot of time for Red Dead Redemption to start because of launches. I'm trying to like quit the launcher in the way I can do that with like programming it out of the way, since I have a lot of like I did used to make a lot of like mods back in Skyrim days, but at the same time it is in this regard with Red Dead Redemption a very impossible way to actually get away. And just a moment, I just have to make the screen, the game capture a bit more. This isn't even fit to screen. Now it should be okay. Is it? Yeah. Well, the question you're asking in chat is in the same regard. Not been answers. That is a secret. But yeah. Oh no! Wait a moment. We actually have to go back to where I found weird stones because I never seen it in my first playthrough. Like I found some weird fucking stones just out of Valentine. And they were just like, after a long day, I just was like, no, I'm gonna rest. The first fucking thing I struck upon. I'm not a tease. I'm actually incapable of teasing, if you like, as you have talked about a lot of like things that I have also answered upon, like curiosity killed the cat, kind of like. I'm not teasing. And the boundary I'm setting is because upon that scene, it's kind of like a secret to the ones that I share that with, which is like holy territory. But I had to reload. Hello, good morning, or wherever you're from. Where are you from? We have to reload the right save point because I just found weed stones that screamed in my face. Germany! Achtung! I don't know German. Ich kann nicht sprechen Deutsch. And at the same time, I just spoke Germany. Like I can sing in Germany. In Deutsch. Like I have sung a lot, like leaders. Like I have sung a lot in my classical career as opera and classical singer. But I can't speak Deutsch. Like, ich kann nicht sprechen Deutsch. But at the same time, I can understand it sometimes. So we're just gonna, audio-wise, we have to like balance things. Is that okay? Can I DM you for such a question? You can DM me whatever you want, and in the same regard, like I try to keep my. I don't want the censorship to enter anywhere, as long as it is adhering to both platform, and like all the censorship that I give, like answers to like that is a secret. I'm saying like it's not a tease, it's a secret. Like you can be safely asking me about whatever you want, in the way that I'm actually answering it, in the way that I'm like boundary-wise taken into account. So in that way or shape or form, I'm never censoring a topic unless it is like censored by either the platform or that I am like saying that is a secret. Like this is the fucking stone. Do you have a psychology and philosophy? Yeah, I am personally inclined to have both degrees, university, academically, and curiosity killed the cat. As I said, I can't be like this shit just stared me in the face after a long day, and like in the same way that you can safely be met with like academical approach to those topics with an masochism that is intentionally known to me, that I take away my personal feelings in those regards. You can do whatever you just ask me whatever, and I will be grateful if I can actually adhere to more knowledge instead of like caring about my personal feelings in that regard. This shit scared the shit out of me. Like that changed into a fucking thing. And what the fuck is this shit? And it's right out of Valentine. Like I haven't seen it. And then there came some creepy fucking music. Like, why? I mean, can you maybe talk to me about it in DMs? If you cannot answer it on here, like if I don't answer it on here, in the regards that I answer every question with the same in that regard shape, it's a secret, of course. But yeah, it's nothing more to adhere to, unless you are the person I've shared that with. So yeah, but you are everybody, whoever it is inclined to like to ask me whatever. In the same shape that I'm like saying I'm gonna make, like if I'm ever to grow like in the same way I have over the span of time I've done this, one of the main points of doing this and being grateful and joyful in doing it is because I get to hear people share things with me that people always call oversharing. I keep calling it sharing, and gratefully that is what I love about doing like this, like now how I'm streaming, with a sense of like I just want to like the joy from going to marathon streams. Like I have had 10-hour streams, not because I planned on it. It was no shaped like a business strategic point to have like marathon streams, but you gave me like joy to the point where I lost count of time. I have like 10-hour streams because that is what it is so profoundly like given great gratitude for. I came across an interesting approach in psychology wiki article is called Biochemical Mentality. It's about the development of human consciousness. Maybe you find it interesting. And yeah, I do. I have to write that down because I haven't entered that field. So you see how I just like, oh, I haven't found this. I need to write it down. So where's my book? Get out of my thing. I just have to find it. This is biochemical. I just have to write it down now because I have no stopping falls in me when it comes to like reading. Like I used to be the geek that was like Hermione territory and like totally described as my teacher described it, like I was like a train that drove over anything in the way it tried to shape like we were doing like theater productions. Both Chihiro from the anime, life reasons to change my name from Victoria or Lynn Victoria into Chihiro, and the same way Chihiro means like chi, 1,000 questions. I had thousands of questions. I still get more questions, and in that way, like it's it's exactly why I'm like not taking anything personal when it comes to like, I haven't thought about that. I guess I have to like go into that field, head and toes, hair, or my whole body, like just I cannot stop myself if I get curious. And that is what philosophy is. Like, you love to learn, but I have no stopping point in me to learn. So it's not something I choose. It's something that happens. And yeah, Chihiro in the anime, she's going through something, and at the end of the anime, she's like trying to look back, but at the same time, she has gone through it, so she's done with it and doesn't look back. And that is the point of where she has like, Chihiro, like, you have to go through the tunnel back to normal life. And she's like, she wants to look back, then she like stop herself and goes forward. A lot of people don't understand that point of the movie. Why doesn't she look back? She was done with that. And that is why like, it kind of fits the movie. But at the same time, Chihiro, in Japanese it's san. San means 1,000. San is 1,000. And chi is 1,000 in Chinese. So Chihiro is thousands of questions. And I just get more. So I think it's 1,000,000 questions by now. Mr. Y by his family because he constantly asks why. Yeah, just like kids do. Isn't that amazing? We are so inclined to just ask questions as kids, like, why is that? Why? When are we going there? Like, some people don't lose it. Some people just have it for their whole life. And I'm one of those. I can't stop myself. I can get masochistically inclined to answer questions in my own mind, like, in the same way I have to, like, overthink. But it's not by choice. God damn it. You're fishing. I haven't learned fishing. And I think it's where you don't outgrow it. As a child, you have a place where you ask questions, and some people don't outgrow that. Excuse me, partner. I haven't learned fishing in this game yet. So we have to learn fishing, but I don't think that is the place where we do that. We have to go back to camp. But yeah, I don't think I outgrew the asking stage of childhood. Yo. No, we're not gonna be. We are trying to have like a high honor. Trying to our best to have a high honor. Arthur Morgan is a better storyline. And my favorite horse in this game is the Mustang, which I'm riding upon because the Mustang. In real life, it's not the Mustang, it's the Shire horse. I love Shire horses. And I have worked with horses, like I was training horses. You're from Norway. Do you know French singer Pom? She collaborated with Aurora in one song. I know about Aurora, she's from Tromsø. But I mentioned her because she had a performance with Orchestra Live, and in this video she wears Chihiro anime pants. Oh, I didn't know. But yeah, Aurora is from Tromsø. Or around northern Norway someplace. But I don't know her personally, of course. I know that she has been in the conservatory I have been in. But yeah, I don't know her personally. Driscolls. I try to avoid them so I don't have to shoot them. Because in the same way they are like our like clan. It's okay, I'm there, you got there, yeah, I know, but in the regards of me being real live Chihiro, I would choose the Shire horse, always. Biggest gentle giants. We're gonna avoid them. Yeah, I saw something funny. I saw me reasoning not to get lower honor and a fucking fine from people like that. Do we have something to sell? Because I'm low on money. Like, Aurora is like, I know my sister loves her, but, and I know she, like, the performance is called Pom Göttingen, Göttingen? Like, your way of saying that vocal has been, like, shouted into my Göttingen. It's a cover version about anti-war song about a German city, and there she wears Chihiro pants. I have to check it out. Oh, I set you fast. You're looking like shit and stuff. Like, what the fuck? Yo, boy. What did we call you? I think I called him Roach. Just as Geralt does with all his... He always has a brown house. And he always calls this Roach because he always get killed. Like, he doesn't have the same emotional connection with his horse as Arthur Morgan has. And in this game, horses are really, like... To a degree, they are... Shut up now. Like, they are really, like, true to life. But if I was like, this was a horse. The Shire horse is my loved horse, but in this regard, I'm actually preferring. Norigo used to be the horse I cared for when I was actually working with horses. You look like shit. Well, how did we do this again? God damn it, we don't even have money, like... Yeah. But anyway, Roach. That is why Geralt calls his horses Roach. You don't even have money for anything, like, you don't get updated. Yeah, maybe. Like, in the way that... I was just talking about Roach. Why I called my horse Roach. Because Geralt does it in, like, Witcher. All his horses are called Roach because they always get killed. He doesn't have the same emotional connection with a horse. And to be honest, working with horses, knowing horses, you have the same connection with horses as you do with humans. They either hate you or befriend you. And it's not in any shape or form anything else than just like the connection between two beings. And you can't force it upon it. You can't buy a horse, but it won't like love you if it doesn't love you. And in the same way, these horses in this... yeah, I saw it. I never read texts when I'm live. Like, I always do that after. And I answer it, like, because both being answering it, I need to have, like, no distractional place to answer. And distractions kind of make it, like, a sub-answer. So yeah, I always answer when I'm not, like, in a place of, like, being, like, distracted. Your tag Bard, I was first thinking of Bard AI. Oh, Bard AI? I never thought about a Bard AI. Like, I'm a Bard in the way that I just... Like, I can take up here, and you can see I have a musical instrument here. That needs to be, like, tuned. And as I said in the start of this, like Damien from Gorillaz, which I love Gorillaz, he's kind of always, like, before he plays music, he always kisses the musical instrument. But you see how I am not, I'm kind of using my musical instruments as I use my instruments in musical. Like, I never cared for my musical instrument as much as I cared about what it was supposed to do. So yeah. Yeah, but you can ask us whatever you want. Like, I'm not censoring. Out of the audacity, I actually don't want to be censorship. I've studied myself away from censorship because in artistic views, I can't censor and then grow my knowledge. We don't need two of those, we need one of those, and even that is kind of like emotionally cheating. Like, if I end up like censoring anything, that ends up actually me being like censoring the capability of actually growing knowledge. You can't censor. So you just ask, I'll answer. I'll do the censorship of what I'm answering that regard. I see, I really like Lorena McKenneth. I love her too. You know her. She also plays the harp live on stage. She plays the harp and she has the most beautiful Christmas album. And in that was one of the things I really wish I could like play. Been a pleasure doing business with you. To the point, like, this harp is just a lute harp. I need to buy another harp like that I can actually like tune in sharps and flats without actually having to like use this tuning fork, which is where you have to like use you and then tune da, 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 like this, and she does it live on stage. So Lorena McKenneth has what was it called? That is a beautiful album, and I haven't heard it this Christmas. And I would ask anybody to listen to that album as it is. Just beautiful. Is it this one? Yeah, it's this one. Is it this one? No, it's not. The Book of Secrets. Yeah. No. Wait a moment. God damn it. God damn it. You see, I never remember like titles of books. I remember the title of the book, never the composer's name. But it's the composer's name that I always like end up like loving, to the point where To Drive the Cold Winter Away is it's the album I'm talking about. And Lorraine McKenneth is like the composer and the works. Yeah. I really enjoyed Lorena's live at Royal Albert Hall. Yeah, I think I heard that too because I've heard most of her music. Like she has beautiful way of just playing harp, and like everything I love about Lorena McKenneth is the same way. Why I want to like play harp, but I never play my harp like professionally. I only were a singer, and I used to sing classical music where I didn't care about me as much as I cared about the music I was supposed to play. Since my like harp is like fucked up, I don't care about this instrument as much as I care about the way that instrument is able to like give it whole self. As I gave my whole voice, like my whole body, life and soul, the audacious place of like, if you are to supposedly sing this, you have to shape yourself into a channel that honors that person that you are artistically inclined to like give life to. So yeah, that is my artistic view upon it. So my harp is kind of like a good representation of being like fucked up. Which operas or classical music have you sung? Like I sang. I never like ended up going towards like stage work more on the classical stage than the theatrical stage, because I kind of get finished. But like Bohème, like that was a part I sang a lot in, both Musetta and like what was her name, main role. But Musetta was maybe the one role that I sang a lot from. Then again, like my whole portfolio was always, it's just me, Arthur Morgan. Like I always like sang the lyrical soprano, which is main role, and it's because of the flach. Like it's not because I chose to be a lyrical soprano, it's because I have the voice that fits that portfolio. So I sang that portfolio. I've been to a lot of operas, but the Magic Flute, yeah, I could sing actually. To the point, I almost could say that I was able to sing good enough. Like Der Holle Rache. Oh, my German is fucked up too. Like it's so long since I actually had to like sing in German. I haven't been to many operas. There's Magic Flute, like Der Holle Rache. That is like the Queen of the Night. Like One of the hardest, the hardest places to actually have coloratura soprano. Like I was a coloratura soprano in the works of shaping me good enough to play that part, and I almost nailed that, almost. But where she goes into the spinto area and also has to do those like it's so out of my league now. Like I almost had that, as I did like Pamina in that opera. I did sing a lot of her roles, but never the Queen of the Night, because I couldn't reach it without straining my voice to the point it actually was undervalued. Like I was a good opera singer, but I wasn't good enough to give that honor. But yeah, she, like the Queen of the Night, is one of the hardest roles in opera. Verdi's La Traviata is one of the hardest roles. Almost had a curatura to actually make that possible, but La Traviata's Verdi is like Verdi's La Traviata is my favorite opera, and the role of her, like the marathon she has to make. Musicals. I would love to do musicals. Like I can sing musicals. Like Midnight, not alone. Like a song from the pavement, as the moon lost a memory. She's smiling alone. Like I would do that, but I don't like Cats. Like Cats has just that one musical number that is good, and that is that. And the rest is like, what the fuck is going on? They're cats. They're just cats. But that number, like that memory is the song. I want to sing that. Like my point on musicals, yeah, I can try. But as I didn't know how to use a microphone before I actually did this, I never used a microphone in singing. I really like the musical Dance of the Vampires. I never heard about that. Maybe I have to check out musicals a bit more, because it's more in the like theater field, and in the regards that like I'm more inclined to do theater because it's more like play, and it's more like playing with your like childhood self. Like this is just Honey, by the way, in the same way I'm not gonna go to the singing appointment, like singing audition I have, because I can do it in 19th, and nothing stresses me unless just myself. Like if I was in a daily work of opera, I would be doing a full fucking like maybe I should maybe I should talk about that. Like I would do a full body preparation of my own self before I even went into like warm-up stage, which is where I would do all of the things I just did. I never finished my but yeah, anyway, I would do all of these things, and then I would just be going over my arpeggios like every like this. I don't have a piano here, so it's out of tune, and I can't do it without a piano that tunes me. Can't use this before it's tuned, and I haven't tuned it. And in the same way, I'm not gonna tune it because I'm gonna tune myself in doing it. Like you can wait to the 19th, girl. If you have Spotify, you can check Jan Amman die Silvergier and his album Lampenfieber. One of my favorite musical pieces. I want to do that, but I have to write it down again because yeah. I don't have Spotify, but I do have like Apple Music. So Jan Amman, Die Unstillingsbare, in the album Lampenfieber. Did I correctly pronounce that? Like it's years since I sang in German, like in Deutsch, like in Germanic voice. But I never learned the language. I just learned how to pronounce it. Like what was her name? Come on. Oh, I was singing this lieder. Stage fright. Lampenfieber. Yeah, stage fright. Oh, it's about stage fright. I never had stage fright. I have aftershocks, like after fright, post frights. I never had fright about going on stage because then I was already doing it. Ah, thank you for the follow. Like I never was scared about going on stage because at that time I had prepared myself as much I could, and I was more scared about doing it justice, to the point that I actually forgot about anything else, and now it's time to go and do it justice. So I was just at that point at channel, and then after doing it, that was when I got like, did I do it justice? Did I do the right thing? So I never, but I have seen a lot of people do like stage fright in the way that it actually is, like I have seen all the ways, shape or form somebody can have like a stage fright reaction. And I was always the one that said like, yeah, you can't do anything more though. Let's just, yeah, if you throw up on stage, let's use that. That's happening. We're gonna work it into something. And going into theater, you can actually throw up on stage, and that can be worked into the play because that is part of like theater. Instead of like, you can't throw up doing an opera because it has to be adhering to the notes more than the moment. So yeah, in that regard, like doing theater was much more comfortable because you can play a lot more. Like, and you see a lot of people like having their careers like shaped around who they are, able to like just playfully just love the theater and become like the part where I actually found my love. You mentioned gorillas. Now I see your gorillas posters. Yeah, I love gorillas to the part that they are like just musicians doing music, to the way that they are just like also doing all the scenes of the music. Like absolutely, the coming album they are having is from India. Like they have India as an inspirational, to the point I don't know because they haven't launched it yet. But like they usually take like a lot of like musicians from around the world, and they have both opera singers and other singers. Like they have singers from every field. They have done every field, shape or form. They are not one genre as well as they are like a genre themselves, just trying to be musical fiends. And I love them. Pieces are inspired by India too, I believe. Yeah, and in the shape that I know that their coming album is like, oh, I don't know what it's called, but it is inspired by like they have India, and you can understand what I mean. The mountain they are calling it, like this is their newest album. I don't think it has come out yet, but they are like having India as a place of like this is all that they have released. Yeah, I kind of have to leave too because I'm gonna like just drink, and then I'm gonna do like my arpeggios, which aren't like beautiful to listen to, but I'm thank you for following. Let's talk later, and I'm gonna end the stream and then gonna do my arpeggios, which is like out of tune and out of like harm's way of ears because it doesn't sound that good because you have to like, and you have to do all these exercises that my neighbors hate, and I can do them when the clock is right. But yeah, I don't want to do that to harm any ears. So yeah, maybe I'm gonna do that and come back. But yeah, having a posture check was my main point of view today. And thank you for the follow. I'm gonna check out everything, and yeah, see you later, guys. And I'm gonna do my arpeggios with Arthur Morgan instead of like having to mute myself here because it sounds horrible. So yeah, cognitive dissonance checked. I'm not gonna do the singing audition today. I'm gonna do it till the 19th. But I'm still gonna do my arpeggios. So yeah, let's talk later. Bye, folks. And thank you for following, and thank you for joining, and all the like food for thought. And yeah, and never be afraid of asking anything. It's my chat is uncensored. Just ask. As much as the platform allows, I'm gonna adhere to the platform's censorship. But yeah, censorship in my regard is illegal territory. It hinders growth. It hinders cognitive growth. It hinders my brain to adhere to fields of thought I never thought about, by the audacious mind of actually thinking about things. That is like borderline, like morally, yeah, like this and that, and how I actually answer you like a little shit, like morally you might have like to balance your middle ground between biology and morally knowing your answers there. Just find the middle ground and you're okay. And whatever you way, don't let it stress you, because in stressing you, it kind of puts you in a stressing point of view. So don't do that. And you are never like censored by me without me censoring that part. So yeah,